Happy World Mental Health Day 2025 to you. Hi there, I'm Luke Richardson. This is episode 13 of my crazy little thing called Thought podcast. Happy World Mental Health Day 2025. Now, let me start off by saying I think it's great. I think it's great that we have a day dedicated to the whole wide world surrounding mental health. You know, it's a topic that needs discussing a lot more, hence why I do these audio recordings. And a lot of workplaces around the world will be promoting this day. Now, as I say, I'm really happy that we have a day dedicated to this, and I'm really happy that workplaces, try their best to kind of, get the message out there and, do what they think's right to get the message to their employees. But back in the workplace when I used to work as a project manager, I used to get frustrated. Well, it used to make the day used to make me angry, to be honest, and it used to make me angry because in my previous job, a lot of you can probably relate to this. I was under a lot of stress. I was under, I had I was a project manager. I had so much work to do, so many deadlines to meet. The workload never seemed to end. I used to say I've got too much, and I used to get more and more. And I eventually went off on sick leave. It was agreed between me and my previous employer that I'd go on a period of absence. And it didn't just happen once, it happened twice. So, I could sense that my relationship with my previous employer wasn't that great, because obviously I was basically an expense to them because they were paying me and I wasn't producing. So, naturally in business I was a problem, and I could feel that. No matter how supportive they were about it, I could feel that I was becoming a problem for them but as I said, the day used to make me angry, and how they promote it used to make me angry, because I used to see it as if my employer really understood what mental health was, they wouldn't be putting me under this stress, they wouldn't be putting me under this pressure, they wouldn't be putting me under this, constant hamster wheel of trying to extinguish fires, and they basically weren't going on. That's how I was thinking anyway. So the cheek of my employer promoting mental health just kind of annoyed me, because I was far from the true nature of what mental health should be like. Now, since I've left my previous job, I'm in a new job now. I'm in a much better place mentally, and that's due to many reasons, such as, it was the right thing for me to do, but also my understanding of how the mind works now has made me move on from all of that. Now, basically looking back at it all, how I was, as I've explained, how I was like, if my employer understood mental health, they would be putting me under this. If my employer understood mental health, they would be putting me under that. Now I've come to realise how the mind works. I've forgiven my workplace for that, because I understand now that it was all my fault. The harsh, ugly truth, it was all my fault. And the reason it was all my fault was because I now understand that life flows through me, not at me. So, yeah, okay, my employer was giving me lots of work to do, I had lots of deadlines, I had lots of pressure, but I was creating the experience of my life in that job. Now, it's easy to see that, because I had other people working with me who had the same workload, had the same deadlines, not exactly the same, but very, very, very near to that, and they were just taking it in their stride. They didn't seem to be burdened by it. They didn't seem to, give a shit about, the pressure they were feeling. They just seemed to let it go and just get on with it. Whereas I, like a child with a toy, grabbed onto it and didn't want to let it go. And all I had to do was learn to let it go, and I would have been fine. But at the end of the day, I've learned the hard way from it. I've got stronger from it mentally, and I'm trying to teach my experiences of what I've learned to you guys. So if you are on this special day for mental health, if you are in a stressful job, you're like I was, you're burdened with work, you're burdened with deadlines, you've got people constantly messaging you and ringing you saying, when's this going to be ready, blah, 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 blah. Take comfort, if you can, in knowing that it's not the employer's fault, it's not the people you work with's fault, it's not your fault if you are buying into your experience. It's just your life giving you special effects of that experience, like a movie does. You know how like a Steven Spielberg movie has special effects and you're like, whoa, this is mind-blowing, like James Cameron with Avatar. Whoa, this is absolutely amazing, what are special effects? It's the same thing within your own life. It's just special effects making your experience look true and real to you through the world of thought, and you're buying into that experience. That's all that's going on, and that's really freeing to know. So as I say, it wasn't my employer's fault. It's not my employer's fault in my existing job. It's not your employer's fault. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's just the way life works, and we buy into it. You can see it in your own job. If you are stressed, you might have a colleague who has the same workload as you do, the same pressures, yet they don't seem to be taking it as seriously and just seem to be gracefully moving forward with it. Now, as I say, World Mental Health Day 2025, what a great thing, how far we've come a long way from, say, 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Mental health was never discussed. It was seen as a weakness. And it's weird, isn't it? Because every single person who graces this planet has perfect mental health. If only they could just look beyond the illusion I've just described to you. That's all just a mirage. All that's happened before now is dead. It's an illusion, it's a mirage. What's going to happen from this point forward is an illusion and a mirage. You've only got this moment, and only in this moment are you creating your experience. You don't have to be frightened by it. We create nightmare experiences, don't we? And how often do they come true? Hardly ever. So, just to summarise this audio recording, I won't do this one particularly too long because I've got to get to my current job after I've recorded this. But World Mental Health Day is a massive, great day, and I wish you all a happy World Mental Health Day. Never mind if you are in the workplace or if you are just, someone who likes listening to these recordings. You have perfect mental health and you deserve to flourish and enjoy that perfect mental health. You want your experience and you're certainly not your job. Now, just remember to have sympathy with yourself, have empathy with your employer and the people you work with, that we're living something that isn't particularly real. But it's real to us in the moment because it's what we're seeing. Try it for yourself on this World Mental Health Day on the 10th of October 2025. Try it for yourself and see if you can experience, a world of love rather than a world of stress and torment and upset. If you're enjoying these audio recordings, as I said before, you can check out my podcast library. I've got loads developing now. This is now episode 13 of this podcast. I've got plenty more for you to enjoy that I've done before in this archive through Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you're interested in any one-to-one coaching with me, I'll put my email address on. But if you want to hear it, it's 141988 at. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. It's 14away 1988 at gmail.com. That's 14away 1988 at gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch about any services that I offer in terms of one-to-one coaching, I'll also put on a link to my website and a link to my YouTube channel also. So yeah, check all that out. There's plenty of material on there if you're interested in hearing a lot more. And there's plenty more to come as well. So I'll see you on the next one. And remember, you enjoy the 10th of October when it arrives. World Mental Health Day 2025. Take care, everybody. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.